If this story touches your heart even once, pause for a second, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this deserve to be shared, and you won't want to miss what happens next. The rain had just started falling when Daniel Cross stepped out of his black luxury car, irritation written across his face. He hated delays, hated noise, hated anything that disrupted the perfectly controlled world he had built around himself. The city sidewalk was crowded, umbrellas bumping into each other, people rushing past like shadows. Daniel adjusted his expensive coat and reached for his son's hand. 7-year-old Ethan held it tightly, his small fingers warm and trusting. They were late for a charity gala, ironic, really, and Daniel's mind was already on speeches, investors, and image. That was when he noticed the beggar sitting near the traffic light, soaked to the bone, hair plastered to her face, a cardboard sign trembling in her hands. Daniel didn't slow down. He never did. He'd learned long ago that stopping only invited discomfort, memories he had buried deep. He took another step forward. Then Ethan stopped. "Dad," the boy said softly. Daniel tugged his hand. "Come on, Ethan. Don't stare." But Ethan didn't move. He slipped his hand free and turned around, staring at the woman on the pavement. His small face changed, confusion first, then something deeper, something that made Daniel's chest tighten for reasons he couldn't explain. "Dad," Ethan said again, louder this time, his voice trembling. "That's Mom." The world seemed to tilt. The sound of rain faded, replaced by a rushing in Daniel's ears. He laughed nervously, shaking his head. "Don't be silly. Your mom is," he stopped. Because he didn't know how to finish that sentence. "Your mom is gone. Your mom left us. Your mom chose drugs over her family." He had told himself those lies so many times they felt true. But now, as he followed Ethan's gaze back to the beggar, his breath caught. The woman looked up. Their eyes met, and in that instant, 15 years of carefully constructed distance shattered. Her name was Laura. She hadn't always been sitting on cold sidewalks, begging strangers for spare change. Once, she had laughed easily, loved fiercely, dreamed boldly. She and Daniel had met when they were both young and broke, believing love was enough to protect them from the world. They had married with borrowed money, lived in a tiny apartment, and celebrated Ethan's birth with tears and hope. But when Daniel's business started to grow, something else grew too, his fear of losing it all. Long hours turned into longer absences. Conversations became arguments. Laura struggled with loneliness, then depression. Daniel called it weakness. He called himself practical. The night everything broke, they had fought harder than ever before. Laura had begged him to slow down, to choose family over fortune. Daniel had told her she was holding him back. The next morning, she was gone. A note, a suitcase missing, and later, rumors. Bad choices. Addiction. Daniel used those stories to harden his heart, to justify erasing her from their lives. He told Ethan his mother had left because she didn't love them enough. Over time, even he believed it. Now, soaked in rain and regret, Laura stared back at him, eyes hollow yet unmistakably hers. For a moment, neither spoke. Ethan broke free from Daniel's frozen grip and walked toward her. "Mom," he whispered. Laura's hands shook. "Ethan." Her voice cracked as if the word itself might break her. She reached out, then pulled back, afraid to touch him, afraid he might disappear. Tears mixed with rain as she covered her face, sobbing openly. Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years, shame. Raw and burning. People around them slowed, some watching, some pretending not to. He knelt beside Laura without thinking, the wet pavement soaking through his pants. "What happened to you?" he asked, his voice barely audible. Laura laughed bitterly. "Life," she said. "The one we were supposed to face together." She told him everything there on the sidewalk, words pouring out as if she'd been holding them back for years. After leaving, she had spiraled. Depression turned into addiction. Pride kept her from coming back. Every time she thought of Ethan, the guilt crushed her. She tried rehab, failed, tried again, failed again. Eventually, she ended up on the streets. Watching Daniel's success from afar hurt too much, so she stopped watching. She thought they were better off without her. Ethan listened quietly, his small hand gripping hers. "I'm glad I found you," he said simply. That sentence broke something open in Daniel. All the excuses he had built, all the anger he had clung to, collapsed under the weight of his son's compassion. He realized then that the greatest inheritance he could give Ethan wasn't money or status, but humanity. He took off his coat and wrapped it around Laura's shoulders. "You're not staying here," he said firmly. She shook her head. "I don't want your pity." "It's not pity," he replied. "It's responsibility. I failed you. I failed us. The journey back wasn't easy. Recovery never is." Laura entered treatment again, this time with real support. Daniel showed up, every day. He listened instead of fixing, apologized instead of defending. Ethan visited often, bringing drawings, stories, hope. There were setbacks, tears, moments when giving up seemed easier. But this time, no one walked away. Months later, on a quiet afternoon, they sat together in a small park. Laura looked healthier, her eyes clearer. Ethan laughed as he ran ahead, chasing pigeons. Daniel watched them, heart full in a way no business deal had ever achieved.